Hey guys, welcome to a live episode of Let's Talk Law Enforcement. I am your host, Kenny Dean, and as my fabulous co-host, Keishna L. All right, I gotta get used to that. But anyway, Keish, Merry Christmas to you and your family. And
Thank you. Happy holidays to you.
same to you. Welcome back. So look, I did a voice podcast last night, and the subject was why can't departments retain good officers, right? I'm gonna give you my take on it, but I want to know from you, right? A veteran.
Mm.
Why can't departments retain good officers in your opinion?
Several reasons. For me, I'll share a little bit of my story with my department. Um, I served 26 years, and I chose to go to the city department, police department, because they had a 20-year retirement plan.
Right.
That was 20 years and out. I thought that was doable. I was 22 years old at the time when I joined, so I figured I still have a whole lot of life left to do other things. So that was the reason I chose the city over the county, whereas the county had a 25-year retirement. So I'm in my career. I'm about 15 years in, and they decided to change the policy. Baltimore Police Department said, "Well, we're going to go 25 year now." So, I'm thinking, okay, shouldn't affect me. I signed on at 20. Maybe they'll start grandfathering the new people. When they sign on, they can do 25, but I signed up for 20.
For 20, right?
Right. So think about the morale. When and there were people who there was no rhyme or reason how they did this. They just decided that anybody who didn't start before this date, you guys have to now do 25. So there was an academy class that was split in half. Half of the class got to have their 20-year retirement. The other half had to stay 5 additional years. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it may not seem like a lot, but when you've already done 15 or you're coming up on your 20, and then somebody tells you have to do another 5.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It does a lot to you. And I can tell you what it did to me. I was at that point where I said, you know what? This is not fair. Right. They don't even treat criminals that way. Right. When they tell you have a 10-year sentence, 20-year sentence, you do your time or less. Yeah. They don't just tack on more time.
Right. Right.
At least when your end date is. So it did a lot to me mentally. And I felt like I could have retired at 42. Mm-hmm. 42 as opposed to 47, darn near 50. Right. I felt like I would be a little less marketable. Right. And I was angry. I was disgruntled. And a lot of people shared that sentiment, especially those who were this close to retiring and then had that additional time tacked on. So it did a lot for morale, and we were all ready to go. And all of us were like, you know what? As soon as that 25 hits,
I'm out, right?
We out. Yeah. So they do a whole lot of underhanded tactics and things to us once you get in there. It's like that overpromise, underdeliver type of thing. You promise all these different promotions and opportunities. And of course, with any department, it has its issues, but that was a major hit. And, you promise one thing and you take it away. And then let's not talk about the leave has been taken away. When I signed on, we had unlimited medical.
Yeah.
That was real good.
Yeah, right.
And even though they claim I still had unlimited medical, I was out for surgery and they suspended me. And they give you a certain amount of time to come back or you have to leave. Does that sound unlimited? No. Another lie. So when a department keeps on taking things from you that you agreed to, you do your job, you have to do your job or you're fired. But the city can come and they can, not give raises as they promised. They can take away leave that they promised that we should have. And then on top of that, make us retire, add on time to our retirement. There's a lot of unhappy cops.
And then city like
working. Yeah. Let's talk about equipment.
Yeah.
Baltimore City had always been 10 years behind other departments.
Right.
Our equipment was, I can't even say it was subpar. It was horrible. People tell a story when I first came on. We had those Caprices, and it had that big seat, the long seat that everybody has to sit. We all had to move together. So I know the listeners and the viewers don't know, but I'm 5 foot nothing.
Right.
I think I'm 4'11" now. But my seat, I got in the Caprice one day, and my seat was being held up by a spare tire. They propped a spare tire behind my seat, and that would keep the seat, because it would move. The seat, it was broken. So this whole bench seat would just slide back as I'm driving, unless I had this tire behind me to keep me in place. So one day, we're at roll call, and I get in the car, and sure enough, somebody used the darn spare tire on the car. So now my seat's not moving. So I'm going on, who took my tire? Who took my tire? Anyway, that's just the old story. But
Right.
this is what we were dealing with. We were still handwriting reports when everybody else was using computers.
On a computer,
we were still handwriting tickets when everybody else was using e-ticket.
Right,
so
right, exactly. No, I get it. I
didn't get a body-worn camera until my 24th year, 2 years before I retired.
Damn.
And I retired in 2022. Everybody else had body-worn cameras. It's
the little things.
It's so many things, and those little things add up. And what's funny is our department even did surveys. They were sending out these surveys, and they would hire these companies and pay crazy amounts of money for us to. I don't know if you guys did that stuff too.
Yeah.
The surveys about
with the agency from the inside. Yeah, pay consultants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Didn't change, right?
Let's find out how we feel about the department. Okay, so I tell you, and what's going to change. Right. So I think it's just a whole lot of frustration. It's not the people on the street. It's not the work itself. It's the department. And I think that's across the board. Every agency has its issues. So, and I'm going to tell you, our department, again, they would tell us they would pay us for referrals. When you bring in other people, never happen. You'll never get your money. So we could bring on officers to tell stories about how they did everything they were supposed to do, brought in people, they went through the whole hiring process, and they never got this $5,000 bonus they were supposed to get. Okay, so there's another overpromise, underdeliver. There was, let me see, they're supposed to offer us tax incentives to live in the city. Well, I moved to the city.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still paying the same property tax as everybody else. Okay. There's a young officer that I know, very close and near and dear to my heart. He just started the academy, and they told him that if he lived in the city, they would pay him $1,000 toward his rent for, I believe, there's like a year or 2 years.
I heard that.
It's new.
Yeah.
He's still waiting. He moved. He is struggling now as a trainee in the academy because they promised him this $1,000. $1,000 is a lot of money toward a young person's rent. And when they do everything they're supposed to do, and he still hasn't received his money, that's a problem.
What did they say?
Contact this person, contact that person, contact this person.
Same old.
I'm still currently waiting, and this is my final issue. I'm still currently waiting on my, I guess they call it legacy pay, your vacation payout, the days that you didn't use when you retire. I retired in 2022.
You haven't gotten it yet?
18 months, and I still have not received my money. Yeah. So the department has a history of not holding up its end of the bargain. And I say all that to say pretty much that. And when you treat officers that way, and I mean, who wants to come work for a department like that? And, and they've even asked retired officers to come back.
Oh, yeah. I know. They reached out to a lot of people.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to be a cop nowadays, especially not in the conditions. The pay is not horrible. I can't even say it's the pay. The pay itself, to me, is comparable to other agencies. Mm-hmm. It's fair. And the opportunities for overtime are there. But now I'm hearing they're hiring security officers now to work overtime to supplement, or I guess to cut back with some of the overtime. How do you have security working for the police department?
We already know how to. We know how to.
We can talk more about that once.
Right. We already know how to.
But I'm telling you, these agencies are they're so screwed up. And I mean, what person wants to work under those conditions? It's already hard enough out there on the streets without your own department making it extremely difficult and frustrating for you to work for.
So listen, a lot of all current officers, I told you, inboxed me from the podcast last night, right? So I'm gonna just read just a couple.
Okay.
one of the responses was, and this is a sergeant from my old department, and he says, "No lies told. Pretty much everything you said, I've been saying for years. Upper management is fucked, and these MS don't want anything to actually retain officers. A lot of shit doesn't filter down because the white shirts have that pride chief mentality, pride female chief, which was I got to get me something and nobody else, which is true. This is true, right? So this is a current sergeant there.
Mm-hmm.
I got one that says lack of support from government officials and command staff, right? I got another one that says good to see somebody actually calling them out and putting it out there, right? I got that, right? So then I start getting ones that I couldn't even say, but the leadership in MPD is horrible. And I wouldn't even read the rest because it's like, damn, right? But it's like the whole thing is hell of a podcast, spot on about the job, right? I must say your last chat about our beloved MPD hits on so many points. And it's not even the one guy's like, you're just a number, right? Money is great, right? No family time. I'm just looking over all the messages I got. And it's like another one, last one. Micromanaging, over penalizing for minor actions, disrespect, and talking to officers like they're your children, letting the title go to your head. These are various messages, direct messages to me from officers from all over.
Yeah,
a lot from because I can't. A lot from DC, a lot from MPD,
all over.
Which is a huge agency that I work for, and I love that department for almost 20 years. But it's like they're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. You know, the condition. You gonna work, and you know this. You come in, you think you're working 8 hours or 10, right? You come in, you ready to get off. You're like, yeah, it was a good day. I ain't get killed today. I ain't had to shoot nobody. I ain't had to lock nobody up. 2 minutes before we call the check off in the shift, they go, hey, we holding people over.
Drafts. Yeah.
It's okay because I was a veteran at a point, but I didn't start as a veteran, whether I was a ladder or not, right? I'm still, well, wait. I had planned. And we know the job comes with that.
Yeah.
But when there's nothing going on, or you're like, well, you're on standby. What? Well, this plane just went down in South America. Like,
what's that have to do with us here?
Nancy Reagan, respectfully, Nancy Reagan passed away. Y'all got to work for the next 6 days. Wait, this lady passed away in California. What that got to do with us? Well, we activating CDU, or our civil disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
What? So it was those things, officers, lieutenants, right? That you knew, and let's be real, there weren't good officers on the street.
Right.
2 years, 3 years, because they changed it. Because we complained about a 3-year sergeant. We they don't know anything at 3 years. Nobody's going to respect them. They changed it back to 5. We
still have the 3.
Right. And that's horrible, right? Because you can learn policing in, a fair amount of time. But to be a leader is totally different. A true leader that officers want to fight for you and respect you.
Right.
You lost all those guys.
You have confidence in you that, you can lead them. And if something happens, you have their back.
Yeah, their back. There you go right there, right? So we start getting, and I mentioned one captain we had. I called him 4 foot nothing. Had a little Hitler mustache and everything. He was a 10-year captain. No respect from nobody. But he already had the Napoleon complex. And I kid you not. But, he didn't come in roll call to say, hey, guys, you guys are doing a great job. We never got that. We got like one captain that did that. Y'all not doing enough. The citizens are this. The citizens complaining about this. The citizens. And we sit there like, bro, you've been on the department for 10 years. 10 years. You were in freaking high school when I came on. Shut up, right? You want to say that. And he never he never had that command presence of unifying your troops.
Right.
And when we got those supervisors, they always left.
Yep.
They said
Because they're high demand.
They left. They went to other agencies or they went to other departments, within. They were like
another unit, yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, I even had one supervisor that I believe was mentally ill. And I'm serious. I'm serious. And you know how much we talk about mental health in the agency? And I'm sitting here like, we have a whole mental health unit. Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, I made so many complaints about, this one supervisor, and I'm not that person.
Right.
I go with the flow. Supervisors come, they go. I'll outlive them. I'll outlast them in a unit. But this one was wreaking havoc on so many people's lives because they were just themselves. Something was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I literally had to write and beg and plead for somebody to take a look at the supervisor. This person is our leader. When they are not they don't have the mental capacity to lead, and something is going on with them personally, it was like the morale, that particular supervisor was driving all of us. And I hate to use the word crazy.
No, that's okay. I get it.
The stress of dealing with that. So it sounds like what we're talking about here, what's causing good officers, why can't departments retain good officers? Lack of leadership.
Yep, number one.
Lack of departmental accountability. They do what they want to us. And we have police unions, but really, what are we going to do? We can't strike. We can't not come to work.
We
really have no recourse. And it's a feeling of helplessness that they can do what they want to us, and it's nothing we can do in return.
There you go.
Who's listening to us?
Yeah. You hit it on the nose when you said we can't strike, because we gave up that ability years ago before we came on because they gave money. And you know what I'm saying? They were like, I remember I was real small. My mom told me about some strike in Baltimore, and then they said they fired a bunch of police officers, and they put in law that you never could strike again. They did the same in D.C. So you're right, because if police officers one day said, especially the East Coast, said, you know what, we ain't coming to work today until you do such and such, we would have everything we wanted like that.
Yeah.
And we don't want much.
And they know it.
We don't want much. We deal with the public. We okay with that.
And then the other part we talked about, and it was huge, was you touched on it, about the lack of support. Officers are being heavily punished for minor infractions. Things like discourtesy. It's hard not to use F-bombs. It's hard not to curse in the course of your duty. Sometimes your emotions are heightened. Yes, you're supposed to be professional, but we're human. And people forget that. And they even have it now. Once those body-worn cameras were put in use, officers were being charged for using profanity.
Oh, and
the citizens weren't even around. They could be in the car talking to each other, and we use profanity. And we get charged. Who wants to work under those conditions?
Ain't that crazy?
We're adults. We can't even curse.
What you speak of is I know at least 2 or 3 officers that got minor infractions for that, because the commander was like, same thing you said, but it was out of the commander's hand. And we were like, you told us these body cameras were supposed to be used to clear us on the spot for things, for transparency. You didn't tell us you would start witch hunting. Well, we got who was this person? We had a coordinator, a civilian. Wait. Why is he looking at our body cams? He's a civilian, and he's reporting to the lieutenants and stuff. Yeah, like you said, officer made an arrest and they cursed, or they had an accident and they looked at hit a car. God damn, you writing them up for that shit?
Exactly.
Are you kidding
me? Citizens weren't even complaining.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous. And you have a state's attorney, back when we had that other state's attorney. Thank goodness we have Ivan Bates. Great job, Mr. Bates. Great job, Mr. Bates, so far. But that other one,
I know.
Yeah. We were afraid to do our jobs. Again, who wants to work under those conditions? And the citizens, remember, citizens start off as they're juveniles, and they become, they turn 18, and they have an option. And we try to recruit. We have a cadet program. where we start them off at 18. I used to run the cadet program. We start them at 18. They go to school. We pay for their college. And then when they turn 21, they have the choice to join the department or they separate.
Right.
These kids don't want to be cops because they remember their moms and dads calling for police and police not showing up, being afraid to do their jobs. They see officers being charged with stuff. Citizens know what's going on. It's not a situation where we have blackouts. They see the media, they hear from us. It's well known now that a lot of cops are not. It's not a profession that it used to be anymore.
Right.
Little kid used to grow up and I want to be a cop. That's not the sentiment anymore. That it's F12.
Right.
You want to do that job.
Right. I want to be a rapper. I want to be sexy red. Yeah, I get it.
And I like I said, I have a young one that's in the academy now that's near and dear to my heart. I don't want to put him out there because he'll kill me. But
right.
I told him, I said, you're going to get tested, and then so with all the interdepartmental stuff, you still also have to deal with the climate change of I would say the citizens and the suspects. Mm-hmm. Suspects used to have a certain level of respect for us. Yep. I remember that. You remember that. You could pull up and just simply say, hey, guys, clear the corner. Come on now.
All right,
All right, we out. We going. No problem. Now they're going to test you. They're going to buck. Yeah. They're going to. I've seen them get right up in officers' faces.
Yeah.
And officers feel like if you put your hands on somebody, you're going to get charged.
You already know.
So these citizens and these criminals are straight up punking police.
Yep.
That was a guy right on the car. Did you show me that? It was a guy right on the police car on the hood.
Yeah, on the hood. We allow it, and it is the officer who's petrified, right? Because a lot of things that I'm not gonna say they would get punished for, but let's say they would get dealt with, and it would be correctly, but you would get dealt with. You're like, no, bro, this is my beat. I'm running this for these 8 to 10 hours. When Officer Sutchinson, when that other officer come on, do what you want, right? But this is my beat, and you know this. You came on your beat. Certain people on them corners, but look, they know your car number, they know who you were, they knew our schedules better than we knew them, and they
know exactly what time we come and go.
Right? Oh, you working today? All right. I got it, Katie. I'm out. You ain't no problem. It was mutual sometimes. Now, like you said, and I say this, the media has put so much out there where everything is a complaint. Everything, like I said, everything is the officer's wrong. And again, far from saying all officers are right when they deal with the public. But you've taken it so far to this, this extreme is that we don't want to answer those. I got 3 guys on the corner and I need them to move. Okay, well, you go tell them. And those calls come out, and now the sergeants are even canceling those calls because they're like, we're not doing anonymous for 3 people because you already know what that's going to lead to. Mm-hmm. No, we're not doing it. Good supervisors like, no, we're not doing that. Then we have a complaint. There's no anonymous calls anymore, right? Because those calls get you into stuff. And what are they doing? Loud music? Okay. It's not past 11 o'clock. So if you have good supervisors, they do look out for you. But the problem is we have so few good supervisors. And definitely upper management is, man, I can name on my hands maybe 5. I'm talking about my whole career from captain on up.
Right.
Was like, hey, I'm out here with you guys. We're not going to do that. Go handle that. I got your back. I had 1-2 commanders to say that and actually did it. Go handle that. I got your back. Not anymore for the most part. It's like we gotta write you up because that's procedure
and everything is procedure and everything's political. Because everything's online now and heavily televised. Everybody wants to watch what they do, what they say. They have to be politically correct. Commanders don't want to make certain decisions because they're worried about
the backlash.
Their appointed positions. Mm-hmm. It's across the board, it's police work is just no longer a profession that you can really enjoy or be proud of.
Yeah.
It used to be a point in time where I was proud to say, you know,
Yeah.
I was a police officer,
Yeah.
and now it's kind of like, do I want to tell them that?
Right.
Against me?
You find out
You
on
know?
your own, right? You find out on
Yeah.
your own. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get it. So we got to come up with some solutions, and maybe a leader that is going to buck the system. But again, that problem is that leader who bucks the system doesn't last.
They won't last. They won't make it.
Citizens are like, we want them out because they're not listening to us, or that mayor.
I was going to say they serve at the pleasure of the mayor.
Right.
So a lot of citizens, many citizens are aware, but some aren't. You know, that's an appointed position, and as easy as it's given, it can be taken away.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many commissioners come and go for various reasons. The leadership, I mean, especially here, I can't speak on other agencies, but we've had shaky leadership for years. And like I said, I did 26 years. And I think there was one point in my career where we had some stable leadership. But then when we found out what was really going on behind it, it was during the GTTF period where people were out violating rights, which then led us into the consent decree that we're in now. So while we thought it was working and the citizens were under control, so to speak, it was because we were violating rights and doing things that had citizens in fear, which then broke down the relationship between police and citizens. So we had to find a balance. I say they, because I'm out.
No, you blood in, blood out.
And this is our way of helping. I mean, this is our way of helping. We open the discussion and bring awareness, but this is what's going on. So citizens think everything's about training. It's not. We get a ton of training. We get so much training
all the time. Right.
All the time. So citizens, if you guys listen, please, it's not about training. It's not. It's really not. We live in a different world now. Citizens don't respect cops. Cops have done so many things over the years that that they've been exposed, and there's this perception out here nowadays. And yeah, we're struggling. Numbers are low all over the country. Departments have low numbers, officers and then retention rates.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then we used to have it where legacy, your kids will become cops. They started.
Yeah.
Most parents are telling, don't you become no cop.
Right.
So where are we going to get these good cops from? Where are they coming from? Because I don't see this getting any better. I see the more we go on, this profession is becoming something that people just don't want to do anymore. So it's not only about retaining good officers, we can't recruit good people. You don't even drop. Before, we used to remember the marijuana law. It used to be that you couldn't smoke within 3 years. Then they changed it to a year. I think they're even taking it down even further now because you can't get people.
Yeah.
They changed the test. I know the test used to be, it wasn't hard, but you and I took the same test.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little challenging.
Right. You had to run up them stairs in the back of the, right. Put your gun through that little hole.
That PT portion, they darn near taking that out. I mean, they still have it, but it's nowhere near what we had to go through. So they've made it so easy for people to become cops, to become police officers, but yet people still don't want it. They've dumbed it down, so to speak. And I hate to say that. They have dumbed it down. Yeah. And they still can't get good people. So
we gotta work on that, man, because situation. You know what? With that being said, thank you for giving me your time, co-host. Again, Merry Christmas to you and your family. And like I said, we'll get back together on this, after the first of the year, because we got.
Yeah, because I need to hear your stories. I know you. You've been through some agencies. I have the one under my belt, but you have what? 3? Yeah. So we have to continue this conversation and maybe have a couple of people on that also have.
We can do that.
We'll get some of these commanders that we're talking about to share what's really going, because unless we're at that high level of command and leadership, we really don't know what they experience. So let's get that.
We'll talk about that later. All right. We'll talk about that later. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, thank you to my sponsors. I love you guys. Again, without my sponsors, this could not happen. So, guys, Merry Christmas. And again, thanks, Keish. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Katie. See you. Bye, everybody.